Hello everyone, I'm going to go through this deck profile that I basically entered, what was it, the European and the America tournaments for BRO with. I basically played like 24 hours of straight Vanguard that day, just no real experience in V Premium, just went in blind, had a bit of fun with it. And so we'll just start off with this Astral Poet deck profile. It's quite similar to the one you've seen before if you've followed my last deck profile on it. This one's a purely standard base video this time round rather than me doing a hybrid of standard and premium. There are a few things I'm going to also mention in the video in terms of maybe things I might consider doing differently. But for now we'll start with the starter. Obviously play the generic V starter. So here I've just chose Power of New Style to keep up with the aesthetic of the clan, or the archetype even. Then four copies of Origin Deity of Heavenly Light Uranus. The main ride, this is the one that helps you push for game, get your 2 Valkyrian swings. You need 2 Astral Poets in the field as well, so trying to get 2 Astral Poets to be able to rest is important. 4 copies of Uranus, it's a way to get a force marker. It doesn't always work too well though, because sometimes when you're riding Berkrooks or Stratification, you're soul blasting 1, so you kind of do mess up your soul size a bit to have the extra soul to get the force marker. Other times you might have Decay of Just Path, or you may just use this later game to gain the marker. Sometimes you go Force 1, sometimes you go Force 2. Force 2 doesn't really that much value in getting your marker later game if you've already got your 3 markers. But if you're doing Force 1, of course it's an extra 10,000 power, so that kind of helps in the long game in that way. And it's also just a card you can call to rest, to use the main Vanguard, which is Origin Deity of Heavenly Light Uranus. So it's useful for that as well. It's also useful as a soul charge target for Decay, as are the other Astral Poets, and as a target to add to hand with Decay, and also as a Perfect Guard drop with Eos Ancestral Dragon, and also useful when you're checking the top 5 with Valkyrian to look for a grade 3. Then there are 4 copies of Astral Dragon. So similar reasons to why I played the other ones. Obviously it doesn't have a rear guard skill that can give you a marker or anything like that, but it's actually quite a good backup ride. I've actually had to lean on this a few times during the tournament, which helped. If not for it, I probably wouldn't have even done as well in those games. I don't remember if I won those specific games, or I feel like there was at least one game I won because of this card, because it helped me keep my momentum going. It also draws your cards, so that's quite important. And if you're going to the Force 1 playstyle, you still have 2 big Vanguard swings while drawing cards, so it can be useful there as well. And you know, you want to make your Decay consistent and all those other cards. You also want to make finding targets for this easy. So 4 Eos Ancestral Dragon. This is a very tricky card. It's very good, but it's so good, and it being so good kind of becomes a problem sometimes because it has 2 skills, Perfect Guard skill, which you need in some games, especially against Angel Feathers, which I played against a few times. I lost to Stephen Lee with it. So the Achilles heel of this card, actually, like why it's very good against Hamiel, if you're needing to find your Valkyrians, then suddenly you're losing your Perfect Guard to use with this. And the thing is with Angel Feathers as a matchup is that just because you can counter Hamiel with this card, it doesn't mean you can afford to slow down the game and just not call out Valkyrian. You kind of want to keep Valkyrian going out because Angels is a very defensive deck. It's got Protect Gift as well. So you got to be really careful, and there is a bit of consistency with re-riding into Protect as well in that deck because of all the damage swapping that they do. So this is very important, but you've got to be very smart with how you use this because it's a double-edged sword. Like if you use it for one function, you're compromising the other function, its second function, which you may also need in that matchup. So it's funny enough, Eos is actually not as one-sided against Hamiel as people claim it is. 4 Valkyrians. So this is obviously your main card. You want to hard draw this because, as I mentioned earlier, with countering decks like Hamiel, or even if you just need the PG in general, because I'm not playing draw trigger PGs, the thing is that hard drawing can sometimes mean that then you get to keep this in your hand. So playing 4 is still good. It's also good as a target if you hit another Valkyrian with Valkyrian. I did it a few times like late in the tournament, but didn't find crit sadly. But yeah, it's very nice when you do get. I mean, even if you don't find crits, if you can find heals, although I didn't find heals either, but maybe just one actually. But it's the idea that you can try to drive check into your heals as well, which can help as well as crits. So even if you don't win, you're still attempting that as well. So the more drives you get, the better. And obviously you need this as much as you can. You want to always have this called out as soon as possible. Then 3 copies of Glepnir. This is a change from my last list, where I entered with 4 copies. And what happened was I played only 1 copy of this, and I went against Prism in the semi-finals of Bush Road Springfest. I basically damage checked the 1 copy I had with Decay of Just Path as my Vanguard, and I was failing my G assist because I play obviously a low grade 2 count. But the thing is I had Bakruk's Stratification in my hand after I had written Decay, so had I been playing a second copy of this, I could have just rewritten Bakruk's over Decay just to search for this from my deck. But obviously, if the only copy is in the damage, because it's super unlucky, 1 in 49 card chance really of it happening, I just thought I'll just bump it to 2 so that I never have to dread that again. But Glepnir is very important with Decay of Just Path, because if you're not going the Bakruk's route, but instead you're going Decay, you kind of want to ride this, because then you can use Decay again as well, so it helps you bump up your markers even more. It's a very good ride up. It's like an alternate ride line in a way. 2 Arcturus, it gives you a force mark, which is decent. It's not really a good card besides just giving you the marker and drawing and fixing your ride. But it's not like a power based card. It's not like Phenomenous Constellation, which is a card I probably want to rethink again if I want to fit that into the deck in the future. I've got 4 Bakruk's of Stratification. So this is very nice for guarding with, because it goes into Soul. It also searches your grade 2. This helps to justify playing less grade 2s, because this almost feels like an alternate grade 2 in a way, because if you draw this, you've already met your grade 2 condition, because once you ride it, you just search for Arcturus from your deck anyway. So yeah, this is a very nice card to have. And the guarding and soul charging is also very useful, because you can obviously set up your soul for Uranus, well, either of the Uranuses, whether it's the Soul Blast 2/1 or the Soul Blast Summer 5. Got 4 copies of Decay of Just Path. So Decay, very good card, because you can get free markers, and by free I mean you're not paying a counterblast cost, so if someone's damage denying you, this is helpful for that situation. And you can find your Eos Anesis Dragons for your Perfect Guard. You can find your ideal ride targets, whether it's the Origin Deity Uranus, or if it's a Strauss Dragon as your backup ride. A lot of times I just soul charge the other grade 3s. I try to be a bit smart with this. Like, I try not to add the best grade 3s all the time. Like, if I see that I already have good ones in my hand, or if I have a second copy of this, or I'm planning to use it again or something, then I try to choose the other ones, because you kind of want to think about what's actually going to go into your soul next, or what Astral Poets you're likely to use as fodder. So you'd rather think about the long term as well, like what's good to still have in your deck. But with 16 grade 3s, there's a lot of targets to hit, so most of the time this will get your force marker, which is really good. 4 Cyber Tiger crits. So this is a 12 crit deck, 4 of these ones, and I play Sentinel crits as well. This is quite useful at the moment, because well, there's a few things to kind of talk about here. Eos Anesis Dragon is a perfect guard, so you can still have access to perfect guards, but obviously there is a downside, which is that if you have to PG with Eos Anesis Dragon, then you don't have access to searching Valkyrian with it. So we do try to mitigate that by playing 4 Valkyrians to hard draw into it, but that doesn't always work. So there is technically still a disadvantage to playing Sentinel crits, but this is definitely useful against Axel decks, for sure. And it has been helpful, I think, against Prisms. Like, if you can get away with just dropping 1 card to guard in the meantime, it's kind of okay. And obviously you can steal games with it. I don't quite have the best of luck in stealing games this time around, but with the Valkyrian multiple crits attack. But definitely is a resource. It's just like with Regalia, like why people like to play 12 crit in Regalia, or 11 crit even. Just that kind of possible like way of ending the games abruptly and just moving on to the next game in the tournament. Then you got the 4 grade 3 heals. I'm not really sure about this card yet. I just kind of decided just to try it out last minute. I just put it in and thought, okay, fine, let's just try it out in this event. But I'm quite mixed about it, because the grade 3 is very good in terms of when you're doing Valkyrian and you check top 5. I've actually chosen this over other grade 3s for the drive checks. Like, for example, I might see Eos Anesis Dragon, and I might think to myself, I kind of want to have Eos Anesis be drawn into or drive checkable. So sometimes you may think, okay, well, I will drop the grade 3 heal. it's also a target for Origin Deity if you're soul blasting. So if you do happen to have this in soul, it could be used for that. Although it's not, it's quite niche because you usually find the Samoth grade 5s with other cards anyway. And then it is decent, I guess, with Decay of Just Path if you want to soul charge in. But again, I feel like all these situations I've described are quite niche, and obviously, like, I feel like in the early game, like, if you draw this early game, then it just doesn't feel worth it that much for the defense. And there aren't really any grade 3 searches in this deck. They're more like astral searches. So I've not really opened these that much, and a lot of people have tried to play around it. So, but then again, it is an open deck format. So had they known that I was playing 20k shields in my deck, then they would have. They may have played differently. I do not know. I couldn't really say for sure, but I think people may try to build their decks as well to not be too susceptible to Hill Guardians. There's a possibility. Obviously, it's all just speculation. We don't actually know. Like, it's I think it depends what people end up doing. But I might end up going back to 20k shield heals. I felt this 15k shield might have bite me more than it helped me, if anything. So this might get cut for the V heals. Other than that, that's pretty much it for my deck profile. I had a lot of fun. And you know, I don't really usually say often about V format. It's not really my main format. Like, I prefer premium generally, but I do love this deck. So it's it does keep me interested in playing, and that's kind of like probably what made me want to play it as well. Besides, there's not really that many opportunities now to play Vanguard, so these events are quite good if you want to get some experience and just learn things, update your knowledge on the game. So other than that, yeah, hope you enjoy the deck profile. There's also going to be another one on my AO region tournament, which I built a deck for like last minute as well. Well, this one was complete from scratch rather than worked on from a previous deck. So thanks for watching. Take care. Goodbye.